Hi Hinsters, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new, welcome to. We are then, yes, a few days away now from Virgo season, the mutable or double-bodied Earth season, a feminine and shadow season, the season of the maiden, the virgin, the turtle, and so on. But also, this is the time of the tree whisperer. I see in this year, especially, a lot of Virgo heavy people lighting up. That can be for the good, the bad, or the ugly. We do have Mars here in Virgo after all. Um, I just want to say also, though, first of all, that in this overarching rabbit year, I feel some people will maybe need to hear this, but it's okay if you're figuring or still figuring something out and that perfection doesn't exist. This is often something that comes up in Virgo season. Virgo season marks the time also of what I call the divinity in the decision. You know, everything has its place. This is Six of Pentacles stuff in the tarot. This is like wax on, wax off, the spiritual accountant archetype, and it's like earthly sifting. It's like sifting stones or trying to find gold. And this is also like the last of the summer wine time spiritually. And this is the movement before the cardinal season of Libra kicks in and the sword falls, or the sword kind of is bestowed or moves anyway in some very significant way. And Leo season was, you know, the icing on the cake of Cancer season. I already made some videos on those two seasons if you'd like to check them out, as well as how those two seasons, Cancer and Leo, are what I call the heart seasons of the year. But yes, Leo was the finalizing of matters of the heart. And I mentioned on my channel before that Leo season also had a lot of this like patting of the head sort of stuff, this kind of masculine, celebratory, or forgiving sometimes kind of energy. And I'd like to direct you also to the work of Paulina Otkina here on YouTube, who I think is the best psychic astrologer here. But yes, to her recent kind of discussion touching on Leo and grooming and how that might also have played out for some people and kind of, yeah, those more shadowy sides of Leo. It is now, anyway, yes, Virgo time, and this is a snip snip season. I've long described Virgo season as kind of like the aftermath of a party. It is that moment of clearing or not clearing up the mess. There's many messy Virgos. Up the mess or the debris of a good high time. And now we are gonna kind of be buying a small pine tree. We've got this cute little kitten or puppy, and it's cute and it's quaint and it's lovely now, but it's also going to get quite big in 6 months' time and beyond. There's this kind of reality that kicks in often. There's this kind of maturity or ripening that is being made quite quickly this year as well, being made quite apparent. And there's going to be an increase in the energies also of that Virgo Pisces axis, holism or holisticism, especially because we have Saturn in Pisces and we have Saturn retrograde in Pisces, and with also Jupiter in Taurus and Pluto in Capricorn, both of them trining Mercury, Mars, and the Sun in Virgo, and trining Pallas as well, this particular Virgo season. And that's like a recipe of big time closing of the sliding doors and being like, yep, that'll do. It's kind of like the curtains of Leo season being closed in preparation for Libra season. Kind of like, that'll do. That's enough. I figured out where and how to stop in some cases, and we're fine-tuning those secret codes and hacks that I've been touching on for a couple months now. By the way, as Virgo season begins, we have Mercury sextiling the moon in Scorpio. And I'm getting from this even more classic Virgo shadow season stuff of speaking with the trees, quietly noticing something. This is also like bees, and it's kind of, happy as the busy bee, and Eight of Pentacles sort of stuff as well coming in now. Kind of quietly hammering away day by day, working through the fray, noticing the Fae. And we kind of still have also Venus retrograde in Leo. And I don't think the Leonite energies are just going to disappear. And Venus is still putting us in and out of these familiar cycles, those recurring themes of wherever we have Leo in our charts and whatever has been going on for the past month or so now in that area. And we have Mercury going retrograde in Virgo. And so in this kind of Venus-Mercury retrograde testimony to Virgo season, I think one big question we are asking is, what do I notice? We should also talk about Mercury and how Mercury is the god of service staff, kind of cup bearers, if you like, and intermediaries. And I'm really getting that it's crucial to pick up on the small signals from people's faces and their phrases and their body language, and to be able to interpret those signs. Anyone going on a date or attending a big business pitch or similar kind of meeting or situation, pay attention to how people treat the service staff in or around that kind of dynamic. And this is definitely a vibration of something we have been being pulled back into to remember or reflect on, or to try to engage once more. A lot of astrologers as well on YouTube and elsewhere will be kind of doing the typical scary Mercury retrograde gig. But Mercury, is both in domicile and exalted in Virgo, and is therefore in a kind of golden chariot, protected from the beams of the sun and from combustion. So Mercury is not just roosting, but really is ruling the school of the house where you have Virgo in your birth chart. It's a very exciting time. And I think for a lot of people, you'll be fine if you stay curious, or if you keep checking things proactively and trying not to put things off so much now, and trying to, what do I want to say? Coming out of Leo season into Virgo season, trying to put aside pride and eat some crow. That's very Virgo season. The crone as well, type of stuff. Eat some crow, kind of, be okay with some flaws that can be fixed and all that jazz. And the Mercury retrograde especially also provides excellent opportunities for some people to review things, or to reverse things, or retry something. There could be some really spectacular results if you just pay attention, and if we just pay attention, if we read the signs. And don't forget that Mercury rules 2 houses in our charts, wherever we have Gemini and Virgo, and those 2 houses themes will likely be popping during Virgo season. These 2 houses really are blazing. And there's also amplified shadow season stuff with the sextile to Scorpio. Virgo and Scorpio will always sextile each other, but we have the moon here as well, toning this particular Virgo season. And this is secret omens and things just making sense even more. And there's this power, pure power in list making, or formulaic thinking and secret kind of sorting of things. And this is consolidating what has been working and what needs snipping or pruning. Now, again, it's that cute little pine tree or little flower. And sometimes even having someone else prune it for you, that's fine. And get closer to refining or redoing something. And also in this Virgo season, there's this feeling of thinking that you've lost something, but you haven't really, and it's still there. And this is often more coming from an anxiety or agitation, with Mars here as well, that gets more amplified at this time. I'd be aware of being too sensitive or getting overstimulated. I'd watch the coffee intake. I'd watch the drug taking. Also, I get in Virgo season often, like just a small thing, like with Pisces season, just a small thing can kind of really tip some people over. So if you are someone who takes a lot of drugs or engages in anything else that can be particularly stimulating, just watch out in Virgo season, because Virgo season is kind of like those archetypes of the women, goddesses, kind of just waiting to kind of snip the fates. This is the fates, and again, that snip, snip, and it can be one of those fatal tripping over kind of times, when the details are really kind of stupidly overlooked. That's something that we can do. I do it as well. We all do it. And just, I want to say, like, get into the groove as well. Like, hide in that groove. This is Virgo season in a rabbit. Yeah, it's cushy and soft and simply tucked away. Many of us are in good burrows now, and there's this kind of great harvest or this abundance coming in a month or two for some people, but a lot of people. But yeah, like finding that groove and kind of calming the sensitivity. And like everyone has or comes to have like a coping mechanism or two, and Virgo season is apt for just doing it, and especially with Mars here, just doing it and just being in it and not trying to overcomplicate it or allow thoughts to intrude. Also, we're asking here, what do I still not understand? What do I still not get? And again, it's okay, because we don't have to master everything, and there's a lot of that hyper perfectionist buzz in astrology and in astrology circles, not just astrology really, but many things like fitness and fashion and quote unquote self-care, and obsession over red flags, and there's a kind of like alarming urgency to always be on alert and like bracing ourselves for the next level up or the next one up that we can have over someone or over a group. And this is like striding. Also, Virgo season can be, when we're not doing it well, can be like striding past very arrogantly like a beautiful flower bed and like not noticing the colors because you're far too busy or you're far too important, or like throwing your rubbish into the bushes, and because we still haven't learned to appreciate things, or we still haven't learned something that should have really been learned in like nursery or first school. It can really, Virgo season can really be a back to school kind of season. Like, really, you're still doing that? Really? You really don't know that? And it's about disregard as well, because there's a misguided sense of something grander that needs to be achieved when we're not doing Virgo season well, or when we're ignoring Virgo season. Virgo is very much one of the ignored signs, or snubbed signs, or archetypes, or temples. But really, the grand is the granular, is the granular is the grand. That's kind of what I want to say. And anyway, I feel like in this Virgo season, as is often in Virgo season, we are taking the sensible and the sensitive steps to negotiating to get answers, or in some cases, to kind of meet others halfway as well. Maybe there are going to be some big reconciliations for some people when it comes to relationships, especially as we get closer to Libra season. And finally, I wanted to touch on the tone of this particular season just one more time, because we also have Mercury conjunct Pallas as Virgo season cracks off. It's okay. I want to say like that it's okay to politely decline things, especially bad or unsolicited suggestions, because anyway, there's this funny thing about Virgo season where even if you ask for help, this is a shadow season, so this is a weird thing that goes on. Even if you ask for help, the answer is kind of off, or you later come to find that you should have just followed your instincts or done it your way, or literally paid attention to the signs just around you in your locality. Mercury is the god of things like pedestrian divinities or pedestrian language, I suppose. Pay attention also, I would say, to the etymological spiritual energies that we all possess and the resonances of things like our names, our family names. Also, like place names can become, like meeting space names can become very important and resonant. And I see a lot of people and cultures that have always been connected to the green coming more alive now, and I feel a lot of people will be getting through life more simply by just smiling more and engaging in more kind of small, gentle gestures. This is like feeding a plant when no one's watching. It's like learning how to wipe a table and to be okay with what you've wiped, kind of thing, to be okay, and to not stay there like scrubbing like a maniac the table. Just wipe it and be done with it. That's also something that's cropping up. And I feel that in many ways in Virgo season, things are everything and they're nothing. This is, trees again. We're always coming back to trees in Virgo season, or at least on my channel. But like, trees are so beautiful and so everything, but they're also like everywhere. It's so ubiquitous. Is that the word? And one of my favorite astrologers, Alyssa Sharp, I'll always remember her describing Virgo as kind of like the glue of things. Virgo energy is the glue of things. Like, it's so crucial and important and holds things together, yet it's so easily ignored. It's kind of like the glue behind the picture or the poster that's so colorful and beautiful and eye-catching. But there's always something, there's always some stilts in Virgo season. There's always some structure or skeleton that comes to need to be noticed, or maintained even for some people, or revisited, especially with a lot of this retrograde energy. And also, with Palace being so prominent this time, we're going to be figuring out our remaining or our existing blind spots, and maybe we'll use Virgo season to clear up one or two bad habits. Anyway, before I end this video, it's getting on, there's a lot of clever kind of cultivating. This is like the fox with the closed eyes, Virgo season. And during this particular Virgo season, it's like, I'm going to cultivate this. It's like, imagine that you're conjuring up an olive tree, or imagine like fruit falling into your hands. You really have to imagine it, and tap into it, and again, get into it. Or do this kind of like hard work or the worthy work. We have a lot of things to still be mulling over and dealing with in the Leo side of things this year. So it's like worthy work, and keep doing it, like come rain or shine, because the sun here is neutralizing now, and Mercury more and more is kind of stealing the show, and more the themes of our Gemini and Virgo houses are being illuminated, and like the time to get busy or to put our hands in, to hold our hands out as well. That time is here. It is arriving for many people. So anyway, let me know where you have Virgo in your chart, and let's see how your Virgo season may be, or how you're already experiencing Mercury in Virgo, Mars in Virgo. And anyway, I'll be making a separate video on the Mercury retrograde, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, I love you. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.